Hello, everybody, and welcome back to World Talks, where every word matters. My name is Don Arleth. Russian President Vladimir Putin has arrived in Azerbaijan to meet his counterpart, Ilham Aliyev, as part of a two-day state visit that aims to strengthen ties with the country. The Kremlin said amid peace talks aiming to resolve a conflict between Baku and Yerevan. Now we're connecting with Shahla Kazimova from the Eastern European Studies Center at the University of Warsaw, who is right now in Baku. Hello, good evening, and thank you very much for joining us on World Talks.
Hello from Baku. Thank you for inviting.
Yes, now, as President Putin is there in Baku for a two-day state visit, what do we know so far? What do you think are the most important issues, at least on the Russian president's agenda, to accomplish while he's there in the capital of Azerbaijan?
I know that the eyes of the world are now on Baku due to the visit of the President of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, to Azerbaijan. On the street of Baku, you can see more police officers than usual, and the street where I am staying was temporarily blocked off for security reasons. The president's convoy passed through the street, and after which it was reopened. But apart from this, there was no visible signs of anything extraordinary happening. In Baku, there are more visible traces of preparation for Formula One, which will be in September, and mostly the United States COP29 climate summit, than Putin visit. What I'm talking about it because this is significant. A few years ago, the visit of the head of a superpower like Russia would be more visible than today. And when analyzing international relations in non-European countries, we should abandon the paradigm that guide countries such as the European Union countries. The EU had their comfort of operating for a long time as a bloc with far-reaching economic integration. No other country has such comfort, which is why it must pursue multidimensional, multi-vector policy. And I think that alliances and friendship in international politics relations are an illusion if they're not based on a community of interest. And as we know, and you mentioned about it, Putin's visit to Baku lasts for 2 days. Suggesting that it is not a sudden visit, but one planned well in advance. Officially, Putin's administration has declared that the agenda includes discussions on peace treatment between Armenia and Azerbaijan, an issue of demilitarization at the border between two countries. Another topic is, I think that it's much more important, is the opening of a corridor linking Azerbaijan with its exclave Nakhchivan. In my opinion, but if I want to ask me about this visit, in my opinion, this visit is PR and courtesy nature. It's with nothing. It worth and I think that it worth noting that Azerbaijan has not signed the Rome Statute. According to the statute, all countries that have ratified it are obliged to arrest and hand over Putin to the International Criminal Law in Hague if if he appears on their territory. And it means that the number of countries to Putin can freely and with dignity travel is essential, is limited. Is limited. So, and the Ukrainian Kursk offensive also showed that the collective security treaty organization is essentially inactive. Because just think about it, that imagine the presence of Ukrainian forces in Kursk effectively mean the occupation of the Russia, and we know that no one of the collective security treaty organization alliance reacted. So what I want to say that for Putin, for his image is very important, and this visit may serve PR purposes, helping to save the image of Russian media, which could avoid discussing their military failures in Kursk and instead focus on the warm welcome Putin received in Azerbaijan.
Right. So essentially, there's not much Vladimir Putin can do when it comes to Azerbaijani Armenian ties and trying to forge an agreement or permanent peace deal over Nagorno-Karabakh. That's one of the reasons that he gave for making this trip. But is there anything he can even do, especially with Yerevan essentially shunning the Russians and thinking about leaving the CSTO?
Exactly, you're right. Because as you mentioned, also there are now Russian peacekeepers in Azerbaijan. The situation has changed, so it's an official agenda. But as I said, I think that through this visit, Putin wants to show his country domestically, his country, that he's still welcome, accepted, and first of all respected in the post-Soviet space. As you know, Azerbaijan, despite maintaining good relations with Ukraine, Azerbaijani officials emphasized their support for territorial integrity of Ukraine. But at the same time, Azerbaijan tried to maintain good relations with Russia because of the situation, what I mentioned in the beginning of our talk. And so I think that this visit, because today when I have read some papers on this, sometimes it links to Ukraine or the situation in Kursk, but I think that this visit should not be directly linked to the situation in Ukraine.
Yeah. Well, a little bit maybe, yeah. And this is, I'm going to pick your brain here on the situation concerning Azeri gas. Now, European countries are looking to replace Russian supply. Azerbaijan looks like a natural fit. There are some issues with getting Azeri gas to the European Union, whether that be through transit through Russia, maybe a gas swap at the border, basically, or sending it through the south, which is, again, has its own problems with capacity. So concerning this development, Vladimir Putin is very keen on selling his natural energy resources, and gas is one thing that he has plenty of, that he's looking for markets. So is there any word or is there any information about Russia and Azerbaijan potentially forming some kind of agreement so that they can supply Azeri gas to the European Union?
You know, Azerbaijani gas is already reaching the European market. But Azerbaijan declared a doubling of gas export to Europe by 2027 to 20 billion cubic meters per year. And we know that, in addition, Azerbaijan imports gas from Turkmenistan via Iran. However, there are huge investment needed if Azerbaijan want, but Azerbaijan want, to, as I said, doubled, but it needed to large new gas production and expand a pipeline, and it must be balanced by agreements with gas buyers in Europe.
Right. So they need
Conforming,
long-term.
confirming.
They need long-term
Exactly,
contracts
that
to
they
make it
will
stable.
bid by. Yeah, exactly. And now we know that Azerbaijan gas goes to Europe through South Caucasus gas pipeline and reaching even Bulgaria. Bulgaria has replaced half of the volume of the gas imported from Russia with Azerbaijani gas. So it's possible.
Right. So is there? I guess I'm looking for something, some kind of deal that. How can Vladimir Putin? Why is Vladimir Putin there in Baku? What can they accomplish in energy cooperation, in your opinion? And we're almost out of time.
As I said, I don't think that Vladimir Putin need to come to Baku exactly to negotiate some economic cooperation because they were such ties, economic ties, and they existed, and there's some group they can't do it. But his visit I see as some symbolic and sure in Russia, domestic Russia,
Right.
and help the Russian media focus on his visit in Azerbaijan, not in situation in
Not
Ukraine.
to deal with the situation in Kursk. Okay. Well, Shahla Kazimova, the Eastern European Studies Center of the University of Warsaw, joining us live from Baku. Thank you very much for joining us, and we appreciate your
Thank you very much
thoughts.
for inviting me.
And that concludes this edition of World Talks. Thanks for joining us, and stay with us for more here on TVP World.